Joining us now to talk about the weight loss drug frenzy and some new players in the category, Michael Yee, Jefferies senior biotech analyst. Michael, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
And of course, you know, there are about 70 to 80 potential drugs in the pipeline in development out there beyond what we know from Novo Nordisk as well as Eli Lilly. Yesterday, Viking Therapeutics tripled in value in a single trading day based on its phase 2 results of a dual agonist, which is a GLP-1 plus GIP. And I'm wondering, Michael, at this point, you know, what is the bar? Because a lot of analysts are saying that the data was very good from Viking. It's as effective. It looks as effective and promising as the other drugs in the market. Shouldn't the bar be that it's more effective, that there are fewer adverse effects, not that so far it's the same or as good?
Yeah. It's a great question. Great to be here, Melissa. You know, we were at a dinner this week with investors and two big obesity experts, and I think they called it an arms race for new therapies for obesity in what could be a $100 billion TAM around the world in an epidemic. I think the context for your answer depends certainly on each company. There's going to be different therapies and modalities for different types of people. The drugs don't work the same for every person. So some people would want a weekly injection, like some of the therapies you just mentioned. Amgen, which is one of the stocks we like a lot, has a monthly injection or better that is coming. And there are also oral drugs that are coming. So for Viking, that was a very strong result for a small company. And of course, there's others coming.
And of course, Viking also has an oral study going on right now of the same compound, and those readouts will be due out at the end of the quarter. Michael, I'm wondering, of the names, you know, that are not Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, who do you like in terms of having the next great candidate? You mentioned Amgen. Yeah. How about some others?
Yeah, great. So Amgen on one side, they're at late stage phase 2, finishing up at the end of the year. There's also Zealand, a company that had some recent metabolic NASH data last week. There's also the oral compounds, Structure Therapeutics, GPCR, which we're buy rated on as well, which has some data coming up. And then there's other interesting new modalities that people are trying to do beyond just GLP, Melissa. One of those is Scholar Rock, SRRK. Regeneron and Scholar Rock are two companies that are working on myostatin to reduce some weight but improve muscle. Because, of course, when you're losing all of this weight, one of the problems is that you're literally wasting some of your muscle away. And some of these myostatin drugs like Scholar Rock could improve on that. And there's other small companies like Ventyx, VTYX, which also has a drug that could be promising and working on an anti-inflammatory approach. So an arms race approach here, and a lot of different companies beyond just Lilly that I think over this 10 years, Melissa, I think are going to be important.
It seems like it would be a sort of an easy acquisition for a big pharma to make, given that they're searching for ways to extend their pipeline. They've got a lot of cash on the balance sheet. They're under pressure to do something, particularly when you take a look at the stock price. Who do you think are likely candidates for acquisition?
Well, you know, first I would say that Roche and AstraZeneca both recently made smaller acquisitions over the past few months. I think that people are looking at some of these smaller companies. You know, Pfizer, obviously, a company which has been long talked about over the last 12 months with some disappointments, presumably would be looking at some of this, perhaps J&J. Also, these are some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies that certainly have the cash and the resources to do this. And I think everyone's taking a look at how this sort of plays out, because some of the early data, as soon as you have a safety issue, Melissa, you know, could be a problem. These drugs are very safe. So as more data plays out, this is going to be interesting.
Michael, thanks. Michael Yee, Jefferies. And a programming note here, do not miss the documentary Big Shot, The Ozempic Revolution. It premieres tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific.